Now, what if I told you that I founded a community? What if I told you it was a fight club, a female fight club? You might be thinking, are we hurting each other? Or maybe even betting on each other's lives. Possibly. Or maybe the movie Fight Club comes to mind, starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton. Well, I'm Johanna Edmondson. Join me on this adventure as I bring the fighter out of you. Now, for 20 years, I was a dedicated teacher, balancing the roles of a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a sports mom. However, that took a huge toll on my health. I started suffering from serious migraines, asthma, anxiety, and depression. I even developed a gluten allergy. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. I went to my primary doctor seeking some help, and he prescribed me medication, of course, and sent me to the pulmonary specialist. At the pulmonary doctor, there he sent me to get x-rays. But I was just so afraid to go back to get the results because I knew they were not going to be good. My health was not at its best at that time. So I went to get a second opinion to a migraine specialist. He gave me an unusual referral. There he said, why don't you try yoga? Interesting. So I did. And after 1 week, my symptoms started subsiding. I started feeling so much stronger. My concentration had increased. I was like in a highway with no traffic. Now, encouraged by my progress, I enrolled in a local gym. There, I took yoga, Pilates, strength training, Zumba, you name it, I did it. I was unstoppable. I was a powerhouse. Every single morning, I wanted to be the first one at the gym next to my favorite instructor. Now, I even enrolled in 2 more gyms, a CrossFit gym and a yoga studio. You might be thinking, how are you able to do all these gyms? Well, I didn't put a price to my health. So I would go in the morning or maybe evening classes, whatever was available for me. Now, I even got a personal trainer who trained me to compete and complete my first trifecta. And I proudly brought my son along with me, who is currently serving in the Air Force now. Now, I wanted to dive a little deeper into what exercise was doing to my body. And not only did I become a fitness instructor, but I also got a certification as a physical therapy aide because I wanted to know the anatomy of the body. And I became a children's book author. Yes, yoga, which was my specialty. Now let's talk about the science and facts of exercise. Very interesting. Now, did you know that exercise can fight depression and decrease anxiety? Well, that's because of these hormones. Happy hormones is what I call them. Acronyms D-O-S-E. D for dopamine, which is pleasure and motivation. O for oxytocin, which is about social bonding. S for serotonin, which improves your quality of sleep. And last but not least, E for your endorphins, which elevates your mood. Yes. Now, experts recommend exercising 3 to 5 times a week with a blend of cardio and strength training, which would improve your cardiovascular health, your muscle strength, your bone density, your mobility, as well as your endurance. Now, did you guys know that caregivers are more prone to illnesses? It is a sobering reality that many of us tend to overlook. It is filled with compassion, kindness, commendable. However, study has revealed that it can be detrimental to your health, physical and mental. Now, as a caregiver myself, I experienced firsthand the profound impact that it was having in my life when I was not practicing self-care. Now, in 2019, I had an idea to create a boxing club. I named it the Female Fight Club. But it was through my own health battles that this concept came to mind. So I reached out to some friends, and they were not too keen on it. They were not very interested at all. However, I did get business cards, and I had banners I created in 2019. But after that, I put them away. And in 2020, when the world went on a standstill, and everything had shut down. The parks were empty, the gyms were closed, the streets were bare. I stepped out into the unknown. I reached out to friends this time, and this time they said yes, 4 to be exact. I filled up my wagon with dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, mats. I will create the workouts the day before so I can drop it off in the morning and set our space up, ready for it to work out. And I had my business cards and my banner there. Perfect timing. So then we would meet up in our local parks every day, focus on our health when our health was at risk. One day, while I was at the steps of our local parks, I saw a friend of mine walking around the tracks. I was so excited to see her because last time I had a moment with her, the world had shut down. So I ran down those steps. I gave her a hug, and it was so much love. And as I looked up at her, her eyes were dark and sad. I asked her, "Are you okay?" She said, "I'm suffering from depression, and I'm having problems at home with my son." She followed up with a question. "What are you guys doing at the park?" I said, "Well, we're exercising." Oh, she was so happy to hear that. So she asked me, "Can I join?" I said, "Absolutely." Next morning, she showed up at 8:30 in the morning with her mat, her water bottle, and her dumbbells, ready to begin her journey again. And that was a pivotal moment when I recognized that we had cultivated a community, a sanctuary for women to invest on their health. Yes, and now we made it off the streets into our new battlefield, our own brick and mortar. It is clear that the Female Fight Club has impacted thousands of lives across our 5 boroughs. We've even gone global, partnering with organizations like Ladies Defense System in Paris, and broadcasted our workouts in Tokyo. Now at FFC, we got one requirement, and that is to bring your will to fight. We encourage health awareness. We challenge each member, physically and mentally, to forge forward time and again, and bring that fighter out of them. Surround them in a community of positivity and empowerment. And as the first member of the Female Fight Club, and as a fitness instructor, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand up. Thank you. You're gonna watch me, and I'm gonna bring the fighter out of you. Take a nice deep breath, knees are bent, right, left. Yes, everybody. I'm gonna count this down, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, uppercut, go, hey. Yes. Digging more to the shoulders. Count it down, and 4, 3, 2, right into hook, go, hook, 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 hook. Jab, cross, let's go. Yes. All right, guys. We talked about self-care. We talked about community. We talked about exercise. Now I have one question for you. What are you fighting for?